All right, Ari, go ahead.
What changed? It seemed like you guys were out of position in the first half, some with defense, and they were getting open shots. Then you made that big run in the third quarter, and it seemed like the defense got stronger. What did you talk about or change at halftime that made the difference that you came out so strong in the third quarter?
Yeah, I think at halftime we really just talked about having more activity from the guards. We were getting sucked up to our player a lot, so just being able to dig when the posts catch it, and then we just talked about the posts being more physical. They were banging hard, but we had to come back and make sure that we were the ones to throw the first punch, and so that just the mixture of the guards helping in when the post catch, and then the post just being more physical.
Yeah, I think realizing that it takes everybody on the team to for that possession specifically. So, like Shay said, we needed to be more physical in the post, and we knew that because when we were stopping the post, it was easier to focus on the guards. But also helping them out, plugging, making sure that we're talking to them so they know when the screen's coming.
Seth, go ahead.
Maya, how big was the opportunity for you to get so much run in the fourth quarter and get all those minutes in crunch time and just, how do you feel like you capitalized on that opportunity?
Yeah, I think it's huge, but I think it's something even more special because my teammates have really helped me through the process to get me there, to have the confidence to be able to do that, and to find me also. So I feel like if it weren't for the confidence that was installed in me early on, then I wouldn't have been able to step up to that moment like that.
Chase, go ahead.
Hi guys, last time you were in Florida, you also won against another team 76-72, but this one came down to the wire, had a really, you know, a big effort all around from a lot of the guys on your team. What to you really stands out about having a team that you can trust, having teammates that, can really you can rely on when it comes down to the wire?
Yeah, I think it starts one off the court and two in practice. We're a tight-knit group off the court. We do a lot of things together. Um, and that just kind of carries over into practice. We make sure that we're constantly talking to each other. We're, on the sideline talking to each other, making sure that, we're getting things right or we're correcting each other's mistakes. So that confidence, that trust comes from practice, I would say. And then, we just try to carry out throughout the game.
Yeah, I feel like you nailed it.
Seth, do you have another question?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for either both of you, just 7 games in, obviously you're 7-0. It's been there have been some ups and downs, obviously, through those 7 games. So what do you feel like you guys have proved as a team so far?
Yeah, I think something that we've been focusing on more, obviously, is the big fouling piece. That's something we can always progressively get better at. But also rebounding. It's huge for us fours and us fives to really make sure that we're grabbing those rebounds so we can get into the next possession. Because without those, they get extra shots. So I think once we focus on getting our job done, playing defense, and getting that possession finished, we can move on to the offensive end.
I think a big piece for this team that, I think, we show, I think, in every game is just our fight, is our want to win. Second, third quarter, we could have just easily hung it up and been like, you know what? That's it. Like they played a better game today, but that's going to be every game for us. We're the underdogs in almost every game we play, and that's how we like it. Yeah, so the quit is never going to go away for us, and I think that's just something that we're going to carry out through the whole season.
Chase, did you have another question? Oh, I see Max's hand is raised too. Max, why don't you go ahead?
Hey, yeah, so Maya, you had a very big offensive rebound and put back a bucket down the stretch. How does it feel knowing that you're trusted in those big moments to make those big plays?
Yeah, it means a lot, especially coming in as a freshman. I've just been really trying to do my role the best at my capacity, and getting those reps in practice and making sure that I'm doing what my teammates need me to do in order to win. And rebounding is something that I've really been trying to focus on, and I would just so happen to be in the right spot at the right time and was able to put back the ball.
Chase, last question.
Kind of leading off of Seth's question, where do you guys feel like you are as a team 7 games through the year? You're 7-0. I mean, I'm sure that's always got to feel good, but there were some highs and lows. But what are your biggest takeaways as a team and where you guys are at right now?
Yeah, we don't really try to focus on, our record right now. we just try to stay in the present moment as much as we can. Coach preaches that a lot. So it's hard to say what we're kind of looking forward to or our goals, coming up, but just trying to stay in the present moment. Like I said earlier, we're just gonna fight to the end. We're a gritty team, and that's just kind of our expectation for every single game coming in.
Yeah, kind of the same as Shay, just preparing for each game, not really thinking too far ahead, just going off of the scout, preparing one game at a time. And like she said, also not focusing on the record, just going one game at a time and enjoying the moment.
All right. Thanks, ladies.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you in Bloomington.
All right, guys, we've got Indiana head coach Terry Moore in here. She'll make an opening statement and then we'll take questions.
Well, what a great win. A hard fought win. Really give a lot of great credit to Gonzaga. Golly, what a great team. Lisa is incredible, and her staff are incredible at what they do. They got a lot of really, really great pieces, but give our kids credit for being able to adjust throughout the game with what started as the game plan, making adjustments and being able to do that. Again, we just asked for them to fight on the boards. We climbed, got what we were -6, I guess, on the boards, but nonetheless, I thought the fight in the second half, a really good third quarter for us, was terrific. It was great to see. Maya obviously, hits the big three, but it has the putback. But as I told her after the game, the thing I was most not just impressed, but happiest with was how she guarded today, that she really was locked into the game plan and what we were trying to take away. And I thought she was physical. I thought she played with an extra edge of toughness. And so, it was great to see her, have a game for us, and a game in which we needed her on both the defensive side of the ball and offensive.
Seth, go ahead.
Terry, this isn't, you've had multiple games now where you guys really had to claw it out and fight. And Shay talked about just before, how the fight that your team has is, one of the kind of biggest things that stood out so far. I guess, how impressed are you with with the fight that your team is clearly developing and showing, and where do you feel like it's coming from?
Well, I think it's a good, it's a good trait to have, right? The fight, because, every game is, I think, going to be a fight, particularly in the Big Ten. And, I think we're learning some early lessons. Several of our games have been very close, especially in the first half. And just our ability to come, get to the halftime, make the adjustments, come out with a different kind of level of fight has been really good to watch. I think it comes from, probably a lot has to do with the conversations that are going on in the locker room before our staff. We even get in there with Bo and certainly Shay, but all of them, these guys all want to contribute. They all want to have an impact. I think some of them have been very disappointed in terms of their lack of being able to help us in some of those games, whether they fouled out too soon, whether they just weren't locked in. And so, as I told them today, it's like, we're very, very, myself and my staff are very passionate about this game, but we're also very passionate about our players and them we want them to help us. We need all of them to want to help us. And that takes a different level of focus. It takes a different level of toughness sometimes when being physical is required. As part of the game plan, and other things, whether that's passing, assisting, diving on loose balls, energy, rebounding, you name it. I mean, there's so many things in the game that, all these guys can have an impact on. And so those are the things I want them to focus on and think about. But, again, really, really proud of, because we were getting our tails whipped there. In the first half, there for about a 4 or 5 minute segment where we just couldn't come up with a defensive rebound.
Chase, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. There were quite a few times in the second half that, offensively you guys were hot, but where I want to focus on is more on the defensive side. There were a few times that there were at least a 3-minute stretch where you were able to hold Gonzaga scoreless. What is it that you tell your team at halftime? What is it that you have your team focus on specifically in the moment where you're then able to have a whole cohesive unit be able to stop Gonzaga?
Well, give our kids all the credit. I mean, we come up with the game plan, but at the end of the day, they have to go out and execute it. And, again, from Nevaeh, who fights every possession, to Shay, Bo, all of them, right? That just have a tremendous heart, energy. That's, there's so many things that it requires that are those intangible things. I think they know what's at stake, right? They want to win, and they want to be successful. And, oftentimes that's going to require a lot from us, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. And, I was just proud of the way they responded, because we challenged them, throughout every quarter, but certainly at halftime, the adjustments that we were going to have to really do a much better job at chasing those guards. Nevaeh was, and again, I know 11 had her couple of moments there in the fourth where she hit some big shots for him, but Nevaeh did a great job of the entire game. Whoever, particularly Nevaeh, of really chasing her throughout, the 40 minutes. And so, again, just the toughness has to travel. We can have it at home, but it has to travel. But I think for us to, be in games and stay in games, we have to have a different level of toughness about us. And it really starts on the defensive side of the ball.
Max, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. So you guys were down by 1 at halftime, yet halfway through the third quarter, you managed to find yourselves with a double-digit lead. So what were the halftime adjustments that managed to have you guys find so much success in the third quarter?
Well, I think for us defensively, we made a couple tweaks to what we were doing, how we were particularly playing number 11. With we were bridging, and then we decided just to plug and fight over the top, and then we needed to trust our guards and giving them discretion, because those handoffs come at you so fast, and their offense and their screening action comes at you so fast. You have to have great discretion. Even though we want to go over some of those shooters, sometimes you have to navigate it and shoot under to go back over the top. And so, just trusting our kids that they were going to navigate those screens. But then I thought offensively, what really started, working for us is, we talked about Gonzaga being very much like Butler in the sense of they're methodical. They want to slow the shot clock down, or use every minute of the, tick of the shot clock. And what we wanted to do is we really wanted to get out and run and push pace. And I thought we were able to do that in the third and get some easy over the top baskets, some straight line drives. And so, that was, I thought, the difference in the third quarter. And then just coming down the stretch, running, some offense to try to get the ball in Shay's hands as much as we could, and Bo's hands. Nevaeh, Maya hitting that three, down the stretch there, was really huge for us. And so, give her credit, she had missed those other ones, but, that's what the best shooters do. Do that. They have a very short, conscious, they don't, or memory of missing. They just want to keep catching and shooting. And so, give her credit, because that was a big one for us.
We'll go Seth and then Chase, last question.
Yeah, Terry. I mean, Shay has just, 24 points again today. She's just been such kind of the alpha aggressive player for you this year so far. And just, I mean, what's led to that kind of evolution for her? Is it kind of mentally? Is it kind of developing her game more? Like, just what's led to that progression for her, where she's been this consistent, high scorer for you this year?
I really think that Shay feels like, she is our go-to player. Like, she has to be able to score for us. And sometimes, and not sometimes, that's a lot of responsibility, but Shay's a kid that she's a New Yorker, so she has a toughness about her, that, she plays with. But she is, like a lot of our kids, but she is all about working on her craft daily. And that's watching film, that's being on the floor with Paul. This is a kid that has the dream and aspirations of playing at the next level after she's done at Indiana. And so, I think Shay's a confident kid. She is, a kid that it kind of embraces the role of, we have to have her. she has worked extremely hard, and that's where your confidence comes from, right? Is all those reps that she gets in cook hall or in assembly hall, just continuing to work and growing her game, figuring out ways that she can score in different ways, just not with being a catch and shoot 3-point threat for us. I mean, she's really developed into a mid-range game, getting to the rim, a 3-level score for us, which, is, and then again, reliable, so reliable, defensively for us. And, that's where I think she's made the biggest strides for us, has certainly been on the defensive side.
Chase, last question.
Coach, you've now won some home games, you've won some away games, and you've now won a neutral location game. You've won some close games, you've won some blowout games. Where do you feel like 7 games into the year you are as a team? What's your confidence level with this team? And like what stands out to you the most when you look at the first 7 games of the season?
Well, I mean, we've seen so many different opponents first, which has been good for us. And so and to your point, we've had some games where we've had nice leads. We've had some games where we've had to, like today, really fight it out to the end. And, I think it's too early, to tell, like it's November, right? There's still a lot of lessons that we're learning and a lot of reps that we have to get and a lot of work ahead of us. But again, it's a new group, it's a young group, and right now I appreciate their fight. I think they would tell you though that we still have a lot of room to grow as individuals, but also as a team. And so, that's what I'm most excited about is I think with inside of every game, I thought we took steps back against Florida Gulf Coast, right? I thought today, they heard the message, some of those guys off of our bench, like we need everybody. We need everybody. I thought, Phoenix has been really reliable, but we need Odessa, Maya showed great promise today. If she can give us that night in and night out, that only helps us. And so I hope games like this for some of these kids, especially like Amaya tonight, give her great confidence that this is what I'm talking about when I say we need everybody. She stepped up. And answered the bell big time today. Proud of her.
All right. Thanks, Coach.